All right, so if you identified yourself as somebody that has the demons, the driver demons, what you'll find is that certain types of courses are better and worse for your game, for your condition. So as you're thinking about courses to play, the first thing I always do is I try to pick golf courses when I can that are a little bit friendlier for somebody with the demons. The types of courses a demony player wants to avoid if possible, and I understand that a lot of times, if you're a tournament player and you're competing at times, you may not have a lot of choice when it comes to picking golf courses, but there are times in your season where you might have the option to qualify for, say, the U.S. Open or the USAM, or maybe your state open or state stroke play event, or whatever the case might be. There might be times where you have some different course options available to you. So as you're looking at courses, what you want to look at is the types of tee shots that you'll be facing. So courses and tee boxes that are particularly bad for a player with the driver demons are courses where there's trouble on both sides of the fairway. And the trouble I'm really worried about or talking about is the kind of trouble that requires a re-tee. So things like long native grass, out of bounds, or like hazards that run down the whole entire side of a hole where you really can't go up there and take a drop. Instead you have to stand there on the tee box until you hit one straight. So those are the types of tees that are really, really tough for a demony player. In fact, I would say that if you have the demons, like a tight tree-lined hole with golf course on both sides, maybe the holes are running side by side, a tight tree-lined hole is going to be way less of a problem for you than a hole that maybe is like more wide open from a yardage standpoint. Maybe your landing area is bigger, but if the trouble is of the type where you're re-teeing and hitting provisional balls, if you have the demons, honest to God, it doesn't really matter how wide the fairway is. There's no fairway that's really wide enough for you if you struggle with this condition. It's just a matter of what the trouble looks like more than the actual width and yardage, because your shots could easily, your demony shots could easily be way right or way left of the target. So for me, I like to try to pick courses that are more traditional, tree-lined, parkland style golf courses where I can go ahead and blow it in the trees. And at least I'm walking off the tee box with only having hit one ball. I can go up there and find the ball in the grass and chip it out, advance it, work it around the trees, whatever. I much prefer that versus what happens to the demony player on a demony course where you end up going back to the bag or the cart and calling out first provisional, second provisional, and so forth. So it all starts with course selection. When you can, try to pick a course where a demony tee shot, you can still walk off the tee versus getting stuck on that tee box, hitting shot after shot. All right, just watched the second one. Course selection, right? A lot of times you don't have a choice, unfortunately, and you got to play whatever course the event is at. And later on in the series, I talk about you don't want to just stop playing events because you kind of have to work through it in competition. The worst thing you can hear as a demony player is somebody tell you that, that course is wide open. It's like, brah, it's not wide open enough. Like, there's no such thing. But yeah, parkland courses are generally friendlier, and I think the reason why, like let's say you have a course that's maybe narrow with trees, but the holes run kind of side by side, is like even if you hit a bad one, you're still walking off the tee box, and so you're less. At least for me, I'm like less fearful of standing there hitting provisional after provisional, and so I tend to hit it better, even though it's like a narrower landing spot as opposed to somewhere that might look more wide open yardage wise, but with big trouble on both sides where you're re-teeing. That even if it's 80 yards of findable wide, that just isn't enough. So I pretty much stand by what I said in that video. If you can choose courses, try to pick ones that are a little bit friendlier in that way. Obviously a lot of times you can't, but nothing really changed in the last 4 years from when I made that second video.